Very nice.
Ooh, what's happening? How goes it? Um, man, getting into this discussion is gonna be fun. I've been holding off a lot of talk for almost a year. It's been a lot of gameplay, but I ain't really talked my shit in a long time. It's been a minute. A little bit more than 60 seconds, but you know what I mean. 2022. What a trash year that was. But there was some great games at least. Good tech releases, upgrades to old ways to play new games. A lot of revolutionary stuff happened. But I'm gonna flow from this list and run down some hot takes from the past year. Not on no top 10 style thing, but just some quick notes on getting my ideas out there to get ready for what Nintendo might be dropping on us tomorrow, because it might change a lot of stuff. Good or bad, it might change a lot of stuff. Game of the years for last year. A lot of Gotti conversations. We know my Gotti, Elden won last year. Elden Ring. That deserved it tenfold. All right, this is an amendment. Just talking about my actual top 10. I was not going to do this because I could not come up with 10 games. So just count them down real quick. I think I only had 9, excluding God of War from my discussion. So we're looking at Elden Ring, Rollerdrome, Tunic, Severed Steel, Dying Light 2, Sifu, Bone Lab, Kirby's Forgotten Kingdoms, and Sonic Frontiers. That's not 10 games, I think it's 9. So I was like, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to give the full list, specifically Severed Steel. Shouts out to Floating Door, you the homie, you family. I'll go more in depth with the actual list, but back to the show at hand. It was basically neck and neck with God of War, which I found to be limiting, to say the least. Went in a lot of directions that kind of soured my expectations of it. I was hoping it would be way more open-ended, but it's way more claustrophobic than it needed to be. Still have not completed it due to my frustrations. I do not like Atreus, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Extremely happy Elden Ring won. Some other games I feel that should have been mentioned next to it: Rollerdrome, Tunic, and as annoying as Bone Lab is currently, that first 15 hours running through the story was a really great time, except for the moon stage. Screw that moon stage. But Bone Lab was fun. Really nice turns, but I will say Bone Works is the superior vision for VR gameplay, gunplay, and physics. Swapping your avatar at will on your left or your right arm, you can have that set in Bone Lab. It took away from the level design. They went too far into making the levels based around the avatar switching, and you should have just created really good levels for the story, and it took a back seat to focus on the avatar switching. Also, lack of updates, lack of even any kind of communication with the software development kit. Trying to build levels for it and populate them is really frustrating. It's just not as fleshed out as it could have been. Lack of information. The game now isn't where it needs to be, but that first little bit, I feel like it should have been in the conversation at least, just for how revolutionary it was, especially being on the Quest 2 itself. It should have been there. Going to the detractors, though. I didn't write anything negative from last year because the things that were negative aren't on my mind. And I think that is where the whole conversation of last year in the industry, to where we seen a lot of things that were bad happening last year, and we were vocal about it, live service games, but how it has gotten to the point to where it is now in 2023 coming to fruition of how bad those things were. Every live service game except for Fortnite is dying or already dead. Warzone might survive, but that's literally attached to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So if you own Modern Warfare 2, you get it. Or if you want Modern Warfare 2 and can't afford it, you can get Warzone. So that will always have a pipeline. Call of Duty's Call of Duty. Everybody gonna want that. Whether it's good or not is up for debate. The gameplay is secure. The story mode is secure. Its formula is good. The issues that we have with it is more fundamental in we want the lobbies to stay together after the matches. I feel like that's one of the worst thing current. Like, it's really first-person shooters and multiplayer games that this does. It disbands the lobbies after the match is over. I feel like that is one of the worst things to do, but we know that there's sensitive folks out there who don't like being called bitches mid-match, and it can be annoying with the racial epithets being thrown around. But hey, it is what it is. Gaining camaraderie is something that brings a whole nother level of interaction with the games. And Contractors, which is a VR game which is on the Quest 2 and Steam VR as well, shows that keeping them lobbies together builds a sense of community really cool in a tight-knit situation, because I can come through, play 3 or 4 matches with one lobby, and we all become mad cool real quick, because after you play that second match, you can start building rivalries. Things happen like that. Titanfall 2 right now is so limited because not a lot of people are playing it, to where we're just not voice chatting, but the matchmaking has such a small pools that we're playing with a lot of the same players, even just by names. We're building rivalries because we're playing together with people names we're recognizing over and over again. So they're taking away from building that community in favoring of keeping the non-skilled players with non-skilled players, high-skilled players with high-skilled players, instead of everyone just playing together. And that's something I feel that sucks. But that's just a tangent. I had to get that out. More or less, I say that to say this. The bad things from last year can be wrapped up into live service games, and it is apparent in one game and one game only. And this is my worst game of 2022, and that is Halo Infinite. That was supposed to be the one. Story mode was cool. But when you have a game that is fundamentally built on predatory practices, how can you build something on a predatory practice with nothing to play with? You can tell that it was built with business model and not gameplay in mind. Even though the gameplay was very solid, it was not built for that to flourish over time. You can tell it was built literally just to make money. Your multiplayer mode is free to play. There's no content to let it survive and thrive in the community for a game of its stature. So you're going to drop a free-to-play game, but yet its player retention dipped off because of bugs, because of inconsistencies in the gameplay, weapon balancing, lack of maps, lack of updates, the seasons lasting way too long, the modes flat out not working at launch. Big team battle ain't work for damn near 6 weeks. And by the time it did work, the PC crashes were so bad, I tested it on multiple configurations and the game would not stay on for more than 5 minutes. It kept crashing. And not even like at the main menu, it would crash mid-match when I'm close to victory. So you know damn well I'm demoralized after it crashes on me multiple times in the same sequence. And we couldn't even pinpoint what was causing the crashes. That's what's even worse. But then we got to look at the armor selections and the weapon skins and the armor skins and the way that they had the whole thing set up to have the cores, the armor cores. How dare you split 3 different cores with the same colors on each one and then lock colors? Why would you lock colors? And not even like really cool color combinations. They would lock blue behind the hundreds of hours of gameplay. And then when you got the store implemented, you would lock stuff behind $12 to $13 to $20. The ranges were all off. The worst experience I had of 2022 was with Halo Infinite, because it shot up so high at first and was supposed to be the savior after Battlefield failed. Because Battlefield was supposed to be the one. And before that, Call of Duty Vanguard was big butt cheeks. You had the setup of a lifetime and you let Call of Duty come back around and snatch it from you. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. You let the franchise that failed and gave you the setup snatch your setup and come back and take it right back from you? We know it's management's fault. We know it's management's fault. Y'all signed the deal. You got under contracts, and a lot of folks are probably under NDA, so they can't talk about what they went through. But at the end of the day, the final product was not what it should have been. And we ain't talking about old Call of Duties, but we can look at the old Call of Duties and see what worked and then now what currently has failed. Your community is in shambles. Those that do like the game don't like it cohesively. And now y'all switching to Unreal because Slipspace? I think it was Slipspace engine don't work. But yet I'm seeing folks making things for the what did they just drop? I can't even think of the name of it. I'll put it in here after the fact. I was speaking on the Forge mode. The Forge mode was added to Halo Infinite. I'm not even fully sure to what capacity. I do know that there was matchmaking for Forge modes and maps that was created in Forge is coming soon. That could be hitting within the next season whenever that drops. I'm not playing the game. It's not installed on my Steam Deck, PC, Xbox. None of my devices is fully uninstalled and removed from all of my stuff. I even own the Master Chief Collection on Steam and Xbox, and it is not getting played because I know 343 made it. No. Forge mode. Forge mode is what I'm talking about. But it's like they're making things for that. And then allowing that to actually come back and build content for the game that the developers failed on. You're letting them make the content? Your community is making the content? don't care if the game's free. That's a failure. And then that's another thing. The game's free and you're going to let a $70 game come back and beat you? Modern Warfare 2 should not have been the best first-person shooter to come out last year. That was not supposed to be the one. But was it a solid game? Yeah. The worst UI I have ever seen. Modern Warfare 2 has the worst UI I have ever seen. But the gameplay is cool and that story cool though. I don't want to play Halo no more. Outside of what Contractors have done for Halo, there's a Halo mod that exists within Contractors that gives you full manual reloads, maps, that gives you full armor, custom loadouts from top to bottom of all Halo weapons. The handling of the weapons are accurate, and the movement itself is accurate. The low gravity, really floaty arena style shooter is accurate. It's present, and Contractors Halo mod is superior to Halo Infinite in every way. And Contractors is on the Quest 2 and Steam VR. Halo Infinite was supposed to come up and knock it out the park, and it's not even a disappointment. That game was fucking butt. Halo Infinite was not good. You had the biggest potential and then the biggest letdown I may have ever seen, and that's gonna go down as my worst. And I think I'm going to cut this here because this is the last time I really want to talk about Halo Infinite. I just needed to get that out. That's been sitting on my chest for a minute. I've been letting that marinate for a while. And yeah, we got more stuff to talk about. There's bigger things coming up. May is going to be a weird month in the industry. We got Tears of the Kingdom dropping, which is going to be its own discussion. But that's for another day. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might drop these discussion videos however see fit. This is definitely going on Twitter. Full form, uncut possibly. And I'm going to drop a cut, censored version on YouTube. But full uncut going on Twitter. Aside from that, be safe, drink some water, and keep it kosher.